Here is literally everything you need to know about SMS marketing to add another 15 or 16% of revenue to your e-commerce brand. So let's dive into it. So first of all, why actually implement SMS marketing? Because yes, compared to emails, it's so much more expensive, as the credit costs are a lot higher compared to email marketing. Well, actually, SMS brings an incredibly high ROI simply due to the fact that on average, it has a 97% open rate, because everyone's checking their phones all the time, iMessages, etc. So actually, it gets a much higher conversion rate and click-through rate compared to emails. Another really big reason to use SMS marketing is because deliverability is not really going to be a concern, as there's no such thing as a spam folder in someone's phone. So even if your emails are going into spam for a certain percentage of your mailing list, if you were to send marketing material through SMS channels, it's going to have 100% guaranteed deliverability. In particular, SMS costs in the US, as opposed to any other country, is a lot lower in comparison due to better infrastructure in the States. So actually, it's pretty cost effective to run SMS in the US as opposed to European countries. Another really key benefit actually of SMS is the fact that it's so much easier to implement compared to email marketing. If you want to have world-class email marketing, you're going to need to hire a proper copywriter, someone that really understands Klaviyo strategy, as well as a killer graphic designer. Whereas with SMS, you could just set it up at whatever level of founder you are. It doesn't really matter because the expertise required to implement SMS marketing is super low. Here's 4 tips and best practices when it comes to implementing SMS that's not only going to lower your cost, but also drastically drive up your conversions and reduce your list churn. So the first tip is SMS as a channel is very personal to the recipient. And compared to emails, it's a lot more intrusive, which means naturally SMS will have a higher unsubscribe rate compared to emails, ranging anywhere from 0.5% to 1.5% if you're sending SMSs on a regular cadence. It can go as high as 3% list churn per SMS campaign if you haven't sent an SMS in a long time and you're sending it for the first time. So people unsubscribe on that first touch point at a higher percentage, which generally is around the 3 to 3.5% range. With that information, what you should do is really pay attention to the cadence in which you're sending out SMS campaigns on. And at the email agency, we recommend no more than 1, maximum 2 SMS campaigns per week for literally any brand out there. Sending 1 a week is completely fine and actually the ideal cadence, whereas with emails, you can go up to even daily or multiple times a day cadences, especially during higher intense sales events. So that's the biggest thing to reduce churn. Now, in terms of reducing costs, there's kind of 2 parts, right? Number 1 is avoid using images and GIFs at all costs, because that's going to jack up the credit cost per SMS that you're sending, as images and GIFs carry a much higher weight compared to text only. So effectively, it takes up a lot more characters in the send, and as such, platforms like Attentive, PostScript, Klaviyo all will charge you a huge premium in order to send images via text. In addition to that, it actually doesn't really increase click-through rates as much as you think, and it certainly doesn't drive up ROI to the same extent as well. In fact, in most cases, we actually don't really see a discrepancy between the performance of SMS with images and GIFs versus without. Another thing to really pay attention to is character count, right? So each SMS credit gives you a 160 character limit. Now that character limit goes down to 75 if you guys include special characters. So be really mindful about the punctuation you're using in your SMS, as well as any special characters like, for example, the trademark symbol that you can use, right? Emojis, etc. Because if you do implement special characters and your character count goes from 160 to 75, you're essentially going to double the cost per SMS campaign that you send, as the credit cost will go from 1 credit per SMS to 2 credits per SMS. One thing also to note, if your Klaviyo account has a special character name attached on it, so for example, one of our clients had an issue with SMS cost being sky high, and that's because the organizational name on the account, it's a trademark symbol with the circle around it, and that was actually set as the account name. And because the sender name is automatically attached, no matter what they they did on the content side of things, they couldn't get rid of the special character, right? So actually, to mitigate that, it's really simple. You just go into the settings of your Klaviyo account and you remove the little symbol from the organization name. And the final tip that I'll give you guys to increase click-through rates when it comes to SMS is simply by getting straight to the point and mentioning an offer. I know it sounds simple, but when it comes to SMS, because it's such an intimate communication channel that you have with your customers, you need to bring them some form of value, right? And because you're limited in terms of character count, there's not really any piece of information that you can deliver to them that actually provides value. Meaning, most of the value creation is going to be driven through offers and promotions, which is why also we don't actually send SMSs as high of a frequency as email marketing. Because as a channel, it's not one to educate your customers or anything along those lines. It's a simple notification reminder for them, giving them a really good reason to actually complete their order with your brand. When it comes to SMS implementation, it's actually incredibly easy. So there's essentially 5 core flows that you want to implement this into, which is going to be your welcome series, your abandoned checkout, abandoned cart, abandoned product, as well as abandoned site. Because these are what's known as your pre-purchase series. They're essentially retargeting people who complete a behavior on your website but didn't complete the purchase. They are then sent one of these 5 flows, and including one SMS in these can be a really powerful way to actually win back the customer and get that order completed. In terms of growing your SMS list, this is again where a lot of people end up making a mistake. A lot of people end up just adding the SMS field onto their email collection page on their pop-up. That is not the way to do it, as that's going to reduce your opt-in rates by about 50% on your pop-up. The real best practice for this is to introduce a second step onto your pop-up, which is super easy to do. So what it actually looks like is you're asking someone to give you their email address in order to receive one offer. And once they click the submit button for the email address, it takes them to a second step or screen that asks for their phone number to secure the offer. Once the SMS is captured, it then is fed through the welcome series, and that person is now enrolled into your SMS list. On the campaign side, again, it's super easy. You basically just send one campaign per week to your SMS list with a compelling offer to get them to purchase. So yeah, that's literally how easy SMS is to implement, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.